Hey everyone, I'm Fred Funk, 2005 Players Champion, and you're watching The Stripe Show with Travis Fulton.
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 9. That's right, 9 of The Stripe Show. I'm your host Travis Fulton, and look where we are, back here at the beautiful Jacksonville Golf and Country Club. We've got an action-packed show coming your way, and how about my man Fred Funk, the 2005 Players Champion and a former student of mine. We're going to get to that a little later on in the show, as I'm going to share with you some of the things that Fred and I used to work on with your spine angle, so you're not going to want to miss that. But the Players Championship is this week, and I've got my sporty new little head cover here, and no one is playing better than Jason Day. And you remember, Jason Day won this tournament just a couple weeks ago, but an impressive performance there at the Wells Fargo. He comes in hot. The top 50, that's right, the top 50 in the world are here in our backyard right now at Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, the home of the Stripe Show. We've got a great show coming your way, all kinds of your swings, game plans, all kinds of stuff that we're going to get to, full swing, short game putting. So let's get to it. The first show us your swing is Drake. Hey Drake, Travis here. Lots of good stuff in your swing, man. Really like how aggressive your turn is going back, shoulders and hips. Good wrist hinge here at the 9 o'clock position with the left arm. You know, if anything, you know, it looks like maybe the club head's getting a little behind you early on. It's hard to see from this view, but I would make sure the club head stays a little more out in front of you. And I'd also make sure to stay a little bit taller going back. You can see the head kind of dropping here a bit. You can see in relationship to those trees behind you, you know, things are kind of going this way with the upper body. So I would stay a little bit taller. I want to show you how to do that in the backswing. And then I think if you can keep the club head, say, a little more out in front of you, and you can stay a little bit taller in the backswing, then I think it'll be a little bit easier as you start down to not want to lean forward with the upper body. See there, you can see how your head wants to kind of dive forward a bit in the initial downswing. But you do a good job leaning the shaft forward and rotating through the shot. So lots of good stuff there. I think just a couple little things going back, and that'll really lead to you staying behind the golf ball at impact. So let me show you how to do that. Hey Drake, thanks so much for the video. Lots of good things happening, my friend. I've got a few things for you to consider to help that golf swing out. I'm going to go to the target line view here first to help you with that. It's hard to see from your video, but make sure that club head stays a little bit more out in front of you. Might be just getting a little bit too far to the inside, so just keep it a little more out in front. Now, when you turn to the top, what I want you to do is feel a little bit more extension in the spine like this rather than staying down in flexion. Make sure you watch my 14 strong segment in this episode of the Stripe Show, because it's going to really help you. When you stay down, the tendency is the head will drop, and that's what you're doing. When you stay back and extend this way, it'll feel like you're getting taller, but you'll actually be staying more level. So I want some extension in the spine this way, and I want that right leg to really push up. And if you look at that from face on, you'll see you're not going to be down here, but rather taller up here like that. And I think that'll really help you set the stage for when you strike it, that you'll be a little bit more behind it in this right bend. You can see your tendencies, you were down here, and then you wanted to lean forward on it. All right, so here we go. I'm going to make sure the club head's out here. I'm going to feel like I'm getting a little taller here with the extension in the right leg. And then when I hit it, I'm going to stay in that right bend. And I think that little combination will really help your probability of impact in getting that club face to square up time and time again. All right, let's go to show us your swing number 2. This one's coming from Mike Nichols. Okay, Mike, lots of good things here in the swing. Couple things that address. Number 1, move that ball a little more forward in the stance. See that yellow line there? It's a little too much into the body and close to the right ear. So we're going to move that forward, and then we're going to bring your hands a little bit further back behind the club head so they don't lean forward, and that'll go with the ball position. And then finally, tilt your spine a little bit. The spine, we need it to tilt, say, back behind the golf ball a little bit more. And you can see how your head starts pretty close to that yellow line, and then watch when it returns. It's actually going to return further behind it. See there? So your head's actually falling back further away from the ball when you hit it, and I think that restricts your weight shift. See how you finish kind of on your trail side. So if we start more behind it, okay, with the ball position forward, then I think we can get everything moving towards the front foot, and then we can finish all the way up onto the front side and get this trail foot all the way up to the toe. So I want to show you how to do that at address, and then I want to show you how to finish with all the weight on the front foot. All right, Mike, good stuff there. I love working on the driver because if we can get the driver better, well, you're going to put yourself more in position on the offense rather than playing defense after that tee ball. Here's a good drill to get the ball position right. Put your feet together, set the driver right behind the golf ball down that target line. Take that front foot, flare it out a little bit, maybe just a little baby step, and then a big step with the trail foot. Now, I know you're left-handed, okay, so you can see now the ball position is forward. So again, I get in here, feet together, little baby step, big step, and then from there, two things. Make sure the hands stay in line. You're kind of getting this way a little bit. That's not good with the driver. Get the hands back, and then a little bit of side bend to your left, because you're left-handed, from me to my right. So my head feels like it's a little bit more back here. All right, that's a really good setup for the driver, and that is going to help you a lot, because what's happening is you're set up a little more over here, and then when you go to hit it, you figured out that you have to kind of drop back to catch the driver. The sacrifice is all your weight's on your back foot. Now that you're setting up more over here, you're going to feel like you can kind of get everything going more this way, and so you're able to tap that right toe. And between the setup and you getting your weight all the way over there with the driver, you're going to hit that golf club, you're going to hit that golf ball a lot longer and straighter. So here we go. Feet together. Little flare in the front foot, big step. Hands in line. Watch my spine. I'm going to tilt behind it, and then I'm going to get everything going to the front foot here, finishing all the way up on the right toe. And there it is. You should be able to hold this finish. I'm holding. I just tap my right toe. Now the ball land. That's how I want you to hit the driver. I want you to work on that, and then send me a video here in about a month as a little checkup to see how things are going. All right, time to go to this week's 18 Birdies app feature. And this week, it's how to build a digital golf bag.
One of the great things you can do in the premium version of the app is create your digital golf bag. It's the key to our Caddy Plus feature. It takes a minute to set it up, but once you do, the app will be able to tell you what club to use for every shot. Here's how you do it. Go to your profile page and scroll down to Golf Bag. This one is already set up, but we'll quickly add a club. So go to Manage Bag, then add a club. Select the type and number. Then you'll set the distance you feel you hit that club. It's a good idea to go to the driving range and take a few shots to make sure you have a good average. You can select the club brand and model. And away you go. Now, when you open the GPS on the course and you drag the target around, you'll see the club you need to hit that distance with that club. It even factors in elevation and wind. This really helps take the guesswork out of the game. Give it a try.
All right, I love the digital golf bag. You have got to take advantage of that feature. How far are you hitting each club? Now, here is my digital golf bag. You can see those are the clubs that I use, and that's how far I hit each club. And I know that because I've tested them on a launch monitor. You should take an hour and gap your clubs. You can see my 8-iron 150, 7-iron 165, and through the bag. So when it's in the app, it's going to help you make the appropriate decisions when you're playing a round of golf. All right, back to the show here. It's Players Championship Week. I can't thank Fred Funk enough for doing the intro, the 2005 Players Champion. And I had the great opportunity to work with Fred Funk for many years. His son Taylor, who's a terrific player as well, and Fred just continues to play at a high level as you see him out there on PGA Tour Champions. But it's appropriate this week, not only did Fred win the Players Championship, but when I first started working with Fred, he was coming back from his thumb and knee surgery at the same time. We're going to pan out here because what we would work on is to help him stay in his spine angle. One of the things that happened when he would come back because of that thumb injury is his spine would take on a fair amount of right bend. He would kind of sway his upper body to the right, and then he would come in very shallow, really kind of anticipating that attack angle and really avoiding trying to get too steep on it. But it was really getting him into some bad habits. Fred's always been a little bit of a picker of the golf ball, kind of a shallow divot, but it really got shallow as he started really working off the ball and then kind of in this way. So what we had to do is we had to talk about spine angle and how to kind of get his spine repositioned in a way where he could just turn and hit it, and that club head would strike down a little bit, but still a relatively shallow attack angle. So I want to talk spine angle today in 14 strong, and I want to talk about what your spine can do first. So I'm going to stand up here neutral like this. Okay, and the first thing your spine can do is it can extend back. See, I'm extending back. I feel that dish in my lower back. If I go from neutral, then I can go the other way. That's flexing forward. So I can extend back and I can flex forward. Now, from face on, I can also tilt to the right, and then I can tilt to the left, right? Or we call it side bend right, side bend left. So those are the four things that your spine can do. From target line, extend and flex. From face on, side bend right, side bend left. Now, let's get into what we want to see in the golf swing and what I would work on with Fred. At address, of course, we're going to flex forward a little bit, and then we're going to tilt slightly to the right, just like that, just a little bit of side bend to the right. Now, Fred, as he would turn, he would maintain that side bend. See how it kind of pulls me off the ball? And you can see how my spine's kind of flexed down. So what we would work on is we would work on getting Fred to really feel like he was tilting to the left. So he would feel like he would go this way as he would turn and also extend back. So he would feel his spine go to the left and extend back, and that would keep him more centered and really allow him to make a much deeper turn, getting that club more lengthened out to the top of the swing. Very important at his age. I see this all the time with amateurs. They flex forward, they get a little side bend, and then they try to stay there, right? We try to stay in our spine angle. And the reality is your spine is changing. For so many of you at home, you need to add some extension from the target line view. Let your spine extend as you turn. And if you're a player that feels your head drifting too much off the ball, then you probably need to add a little left bend like Fred did. Now, if you're someone who has a reverse spine angle, right, you've got too much left bend, then you probably need to feel like you've got a little bit more right bend. But the context of spine angle is exactly that. Everybody's different, but it really does get into a situation where we're just trying to stay in spine angle, and that's usually bad advice for most people. Now, from there as we go to impact, you look at a good impact position, of course, your spine is in a little bit of right bend. I see a lot of you, your spine gets going too far to the left, and when it gets left, it stays flexed down too much. Again, trying to stay in our spine angle, right? So we want to be in right bend, and then from there, we want to extend. There's that extension thing again. Look at my lower back, a little dish in my lower back. Don't get rounded out this way. Don't try to stay down. Stay in right bend, extend. I'm extending back. That really puts you in a nice, powerful position to turn through it. Now you feel the left leg pushing up, much like the right leg was pushing up. So spine angle is a big topic, and today in 14 strong, I wanted to break it down, and I felt it was appropriate because Fred Funk, one of the probably the straightest driver of all time, a big-time winner on the PGA Tour, a big-time winner on PGA Tour Champions, was someone who had to work on spine angle. Not staying in spine angle, but getting him to change spine angle to be more dynamic and allow him to get in position to strike down on the golf ball a little bit and get that club face or interaction with the ground the way that you wanted it. So think about this 14 strong. Where do you fit into that? And then from there, you can kind of tailor your spine angle the appropriate manner. All right, Steve, hey, I've got some things for you here. The first thing is bend your knees at address. Right now, you're a little too stiff-legged at address. And when you go to the top, that right leg, you know, I like a player to lose a little flexion in the right knee, but that's pretty straight right there. And a lot of that stems from the address position. Now, once we do that, then I think it's pretty simple with you. As you get to the top of the swing, good shoulder turn there. I want to make sure your left arm is far enough, say, behind you, not so upright. But more importantly than that, I want to get the club shaft pointing more to the left. Your club shaft right now is pretty vertical, okay, and pointing, say, more over to the right, okay? So I'm going to show you how to get the club shaft to lay down a bit, and I think that'll really help you here in early transition because the club shaft wants to get vertical here, it looks like, and that'll really cause you to stall out a bit with your pivot, and the overall swing shape coming down can be too steep. So I think I can really help you out and complement what's happening in the turn here by getting the left arm a little deeper, the club shaft a little bit more laid off, a little flatter, and then from there you can come down, things will feel flatter, more from the inside, and I think that'll really help your driver. Okay, here it comes. All right, Steve, good stuff there. Thanks for sending in your video. I've got a couple things for you that I think are going to really help your golf swing, and it starts in the address position. When you set up, your legs are pretty straight right now. Go ahead and add some knee flex, not to the point where your hips come way in if you look from the target line here, not like this, but you kind of keep your hips back and then let your knees kind of rock forward, and I think that'll give you a little bit more knee flex as you go to the top. You don't want to be completely locked out, right? You want to have still a little bit left there in the right knee. So we're going to add some knee flex at address, and I think that'll help to the top. Now, when you get to the top of the swing, let the lead arm just kind of work a little bit more around you with the hip turn and try to lay the club down this way like this, right? You can see how I just take the club from this position and I just let the club head kind of fall back like this. My left wrist is flattening out, my right wrist is bending back, so the club feels more horizontal. So we're going to do that again here. I'm going to go ahead and take it back, and then I'm just going to kind of let this fall down. A good drill is to go up there, hold it, lay it down. All right, exaggerate it. Go up there, hold it, lay it down, right? So you can really exaggerate and get the shaft more horizontal, that left wrist flatter, and that's going to really help feel like the club's going to come more down from the inside and a little shallower, right? A little bit more merry-go-round and a little less kind of vertical like this, right? Which would be kind of a Ferris wheel action, all right? So here we go. We're going to take our setup, add some knee flex, take it up there, lay it down. One more time, make sure the left arm's working around my body a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit it, and it's going to feel a little bit shallower into impact like that. Again, a little bit more merry-go-round style versus Ferris wheel style, and I think that's going to really help your woods. Thanks for sending in the video. Let's go to our last one, Show Us Your Swing, and this one is Dylan. Hey Dylan, good looking golf swing. What I want you to do is go over to that short game area and start grinding on your wedges and your putter. And I'm serious about that because you've got a very good swing. You may take the club head maybe a little inside early on, but I like how you get things shaped to the top. That's a nice position. Make sure you don't lean a little too far to the target with the spine. Hard to see from this view, but lots of good stuff and things to like with the club shaft, club face, and wrist angles. And my favorite part of your swing is right here. You do a great job of rotating out of the way. That's good stuff right there. Very good impact position. You got a very nice swing. I wouldn't be tinkering with it too much. I'd be hitting shots, high, low, fades, draws, find your go-to shot. But more importantly than all that, go to the short game area, work on your wedges, and work on your putter. Very good golf swing, my friend. Hey Dylan, really good golf swing, and I mean this now. Don't be tinkering a lot with your swing. Hit different shots, draws, fades, low, high. Club head might be a little inside. You might keep it a little bit more out in front of you, but other than that, really good stuff. Now, get to the short game area, and I want to show you a cool game that'll really help your distance control with your wedges. It's called +5, -5. I've got a 75-yard wedge shot here, okay? So I'm going to try to carry this 75 yards. Now, I always grip down about an inch. I've got my 58-degree wedge, and 75 yards from me is about 9 o'clock and then adequate speed coming through. So here we go. So I'm just going to try to carry this 75 yards, just like that. And I hit that just a little too hard. So I was probably a little closer to 80, but that was pretty close. So that was 1 ball to 75. Okay, now I'm going to add 5, right? I'm going to try to go 80 yards, and I'm going to see if I can feel the difference in that. So here we go. 80 yards. Ooh, that felt good right there. That should be about the right number. Yep, and there was about 80 yards. Now, the third ball, I'm going to go -5. Okay, so I'm going to bring it back to 70 yards now. All right, so I might open the face just a smidge. Here at 70 yards from me. Yep, there it is. Threw it up just a little bit higher, slowed my rate of turn down just a bit, so that was probably about 73 yards, okay? So I start at 75, 1 ball to 80, 1 ball to 70, and then I'm going to switch. I'm going to go over here to this 95-yard hole. I'm going to hit 1 ball to 95, 100, 90, back over to here to 45, 45, 50, 40, add 5, take away 5, 3 balls to each of those collection areas, and really start to dial in your distance control with your wedges. Which club are you using? Are you gripping down? Are you using the clock system where maybe your left arm goes to 9, 10, full? Get your rate of turn dialed in. But with your golf swing, dial in the distance control. If you have a launch monitor, use it to help the carry distance. And I think you're going to find your scores go way down, my friend. Really appreciate the video. Keep up the good work. And you're probably wondering, how do I get involved with the Stripe Show? I want to send my video in, or I might have a question. Well, here's how you do it. Hey there, Travis Fulton here with the Stripe Show, 18 Birdies, and I want to help you with your game. And all you have to do is submit a swing video and send it to the Stripe Show at 18birdies.com. Now, in that video, I want 3 things. First and foremost, I want to know who you are and where you're from, and then secondly, how can I help you with your game in 1 to 2 sentences, and then finally film that swing from 1 or 2 camera angles, face on just like this, or from down the target line just like this. So here's how it works. A good sample. Hey, I'm Travis Fulton from Ponte Vedra, Florida, and I would like some help with my driver. My tendency is I hit it a little too high, and ever so often it slices off to the right. So I'd appreciate any help that you could give me. Here we go. Send us your video. That's all you got to do, and then I'll put it on the Stripe Show, and I'm going to give you great information, and we're going to put it in the right order. All right, it's time to have some fun here. It's Q&A time. We're going to the mailbag, and Tom, first question.
Tom from Tampa asked, any tips on the 40-yard shot?
The 40-yard shot, the dreaded 40-yarder, the in-betweener. All right, here's what we're going to do. I've got my sand wedge here. I'm going to set the club face a little bit open, not much. Shafts pretty neutral, okay? Now, arm swing with the hinge. Again, arm swing with the hinge. Look at my body. It's not moving a whole lot. I'm not loading up. A lot of you get too much turn, and then you got to put the brakes on. All right? So arm swing with the hinge, and then I go with it. And when you go with it, I kind of like the right foot down. I like that right foot just staying down on the instep, all right? So arm swing with a hinge, I go with it, passive right foot. With that setup, let's come over here. Let's see if this is about 40 yards. See this? 40 yards. What? They told me to do it. All right, question number 2.
Kelly, please, are there drills to shallow out my divot?
To shallow out the divot. Yes, there are drills that'll help you shallow out the divot. And this drill is what we call a low to high drill. So I've got this tennis racket in my hand. See this here, this tennis racket. And I'm gonna do an overhand. I'm going out this way. So I'm gonna start low, low to high. See that? Low to high. Now when I recruit that way, what's my left leg doing? It's pushing up. My left shoulder is working up and around, right? Now the opposite of that would be high to low, right? High to low. See how everything stays down. So grab a golf club, get your wrist hinge, and then feel like you recruit low to high. Same feeling, overhand in tennis. And when you do that, it'll help shallow out the divot just like that. Come in here, look at that. Just a nice shallow divot. That's about what you want to see, 40 yards, 60 yards, 80 yards, 100 yards. I like that low to high. First question, second question, kind of package those up together. And I think you're going to like that. Third question, Tom.
Frank needs help. I keep clanking it off the toe.
Off the toe.
I want to stop. I just can't.
I want to stop. Okay, so common, right? We catch it on the toe. Here's the toe, right? Here's the center. Here's the heel, right? And then we got high in the face, low in the face. Very common to catch it on the toe. And what I'm going to give you there, Frank, right? What I'm going to give you there, Frank, is we've got to get the shaft to shallow out a little bit in transition. I see a lot of vertical shafts, okay, vertical, and then the club comes down and we stand it up like this, okay? So we get vertical and then we stand it up. So if we can get it shallow, then we can turn and the sweet spot will kick out this way. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna get set up here. I'm gonna feel that shallow out like this. Very common feel is that left thumb kind of pushing down, right? I feel that left thumb kind of push down this way rather than towards me, right? I get going this way, then that shaft gets vertical, all right? So kind of feel that. And then from there, it'll get it more on the sweet spot. And there it is, right on the sweet spot. So good questions, really appreciate it. Keep sending them in on Twitter at 18Birdies or to me at Travis Fulton. Remember, you can send your videos or all kinds of questions, whatever's we can help you with in your golf swing. Email them to us at the Stripe Show at 18birdies.com. All right, got one more segment for you. We call it the 60-second swing fix. You ready for this? Let's go. Time for the 60-second swing fix, but this week it's the putter fix. Are we ready? We got a time?
It's going.
Here we go, 60 seconds. Now check this out. I got 2 tees in the ground. One of them is just outside of the toe, and then the other one just inside the heel. Now I'm going to set the putter face up the target line just a little bit, take my setup, and then I'm going to make some strokes trying to miss those tees. And it's going to really teach you about the path of your putter head. If I start hitting that outside tee going back, I'm going to the outside. If I start taking it back to the inside too much, I hit that inside tee. So I can just get the feeling of swinging that putter head through that gate. It's really good feedback on the natural arc of your putting stroke. Do that a few times. We're going to put the ball in there. Get my setup here. The ball just ahead of those 2 tees.
10 seconds.
And your job, make a stroke and miss those tees. Just like that. We call it the gate drill. You see it all the time on the PGA Tour. Give it a try and it's going to help your putting. How about that? We cover it all here on the Stripe. So full swing, short game, and now some putting. It's been a full show. I'm a little exhausted. I hope you have learned something. We have a big week ahead of us here in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. The Players Championship in town. Don't miss next week on the Stripe Show. I'm going to be bringing you some terrific interviews from some of the top coaches in the game that I'll be spending some time with here this week at TPC Sawgrass. So have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next time right back here on the Stripe Show with Travis Fulton.